Welcome back, darlings. This week's video is going to be a bit more testing on Garage Therapy Snow V2 versus Bilt Hamber Touchless V3. Quick reminder, Touchless V3 is what commonly people think is V2. There was another small iteration in between. It doesn't matter, but when I say V3, I mean the latest iteration, the 2% PIR one. Anyway, previous test, I hadn't used the Garage Therapy Snow V2 at its maximum PIR, which is 3%. I did it at the same as Touchless. We really want to see how these two things compare at maximum strength, don't we? So let's get on. Starting off here with the Garage Therapy Snow V2 at 3% PIR, as I said. Doing it on the rear half of the car this time because I did it on the front half last time. Some people said that was an unfair test because the front's dirtier. Fair enough. So I put the Touchless V3 now at 2% PIR on the front here. And I'm just going to fill in a little bit that I missed with the Snow V2 there. Now, while these are dwelling for a few minutes, let's talk about cost per wash. Now, to do a litre in the MTM PF 22.2, which is a very economic foam bottle, to do a litre at 3% PIR for the Garage Therapy, that would take 480 ml. So it sounds like a lot. However, I only have to use about half a bottle to go around an entire car this size, which is pretty good. Whereas the thirstier foam lines, you'd have to use like a whole litre. So it doesn't add up in quite the same way. However, it would cost £3.36 worth of product to get that amount of Garage Therapy Snow V2 solution into a litre. The Bilt Hamber Touchless at 2% PIR is also cheaper anyway, and that would be about £1.90, I believe, if I've done the maths right. So there's quite a big difference. And these are both based off the 5 litre containers pricing, okay? Anyway, let's watch this dwell for a few minutes and come back to it. So this is obviously heavily sped up, but the reason we're watching this is to see if there's any significant difference in the runoff of the foam, which affects how long it will cling and therefore be effective. All right, it's about 3.5, 4 minutes. Let's rinse it off. So I'm doing this in real time to start with. I'll speed it up a bit later on. And the reason for that is to show you how slow I am when I'm thoroughly rinsing off. This is important because you see those guys down at the car wash and Scratch and Shine just wanging it over. Just basically, they're just washing the suds off. They're not washing the dirt off. Whereas here, I'm using a pressure washer to really work with the pre-wash agent to actually remove as much dirt as possible before the contact wash. I've got the time to do it. And as a detailer, you probably would. As those car wash guys, they don't have the time. It's all about volume. Now, I will say that I'm using the Nilfisk P200, which is an incredible pressure washer. It is probably the most potent domestic pressure washer you can actually buy. So those two things combined, this is going to shift a lot of dirt off. But from this distance, and the camera's about 8 foot away, you can see that they're pretty even. It isn't the case when you're up close. We'll get to that in a minute though. But generally, you look at that, it is shifting a lot of dirt and it's doing incredibly well. So both of these products are actually good pre-wash products. Regardless of the outcome of this test, neither are bad. Just one's better than the other. All right. Okay, this time it is definitely closer. I can see from what I'm seeing here, I'm going to do a swipe test, I think. This is dirtier at the front a little bit. It still definitely seems cleaner with the Touchless than it did with the Garage Therapy. But let me just get a swipe so we can do it. All right, so look. Ooh, that's interesting, right? That's the Touchless. That is the Snow V2, and this is at the dirtier part of the car at the front. Can't argue with that, can you? So there we go. You want a good pre-wash. I feel like the wheels have come up better as well than with the Garage Therapy. Now, bearing in mind these are all ceramic coated, I would say that has come up a bit better. Other things that are interesting about this is, it's been about 8 weeks almost since I last washed this, and I did about 600 miles of mixed driving, A roads, B roads, motorway. So a really good test for all of this. That Touchless is incredible. This is incredible. That cleaning power is absolutely phenomenal, especially for the price. I think it now beats Autofoam. I say I think because I haven't got any auto foam left, and I'm not going to buy any more because I actually stopped enjoying using it. That's why I changed to the Garage Therapy Snow V2. The auto foam is clearly a very good cleaner. It just doesn't rinse very freely. And then that mixing up with other shampoos and stuff, it just didn't really work well for me anymore. I didn't like the original version of this because you had to use so much, like the 5% PIR, and it didn't clean as well as touchless. I think they've made some more changes to this than they've said, because it is absolutely amazing. I would say on anything reasonably frequently cleaned, so a couple of months or less, nothing will beat this in a straight shootout and pre-wash. Yes, mileage depends on that. So if you're a motorway road warrior, you do hundreds of miles a week, you've got a different type of grime. This will struggle with some of that, I think. I'm looking at my neighbour's car at the moment, and it's a Tesla Model Y, and it's absolutely caked. And I'm wondering if he'll let me have a go, so I can test this against something like VB, Kotkemi VB, with a caustic pre-wash, a bit like Garage Therapy Decon, because I'd love to see how that does against that and that type of road grime, which is really greasy, which is where I think these struggle more, and that's where auto foam used to do better. The thing is, I prefer Kotkemi Super Foam, to auto foam now. So my options for you to get would be this, which is actually incredibly good value because you can buy a litre, you can buy 5 litres, you can buy 25 litres. Trade, this is brilliant at 25 litres. You won't need another pre-wash product either, which I think is a really important thing to stress. If you find that you've got really grimy stuff underneath, just spray a load of APC on underneath that first, Surfex HD, Green Star, whatever brand you like. Get those on there and then put this over the top. If you feel like you need an extra bit of bite, I think you'd be surprised if you did. Or just go, it's been 6 months since this car's been washed, I'm going to go straight in with a caustic shampoo like Garage Therapy Decon or Kotkemi VB. Or use Kotkemi Super Foam, and that comes in 10 litres, which is good value. It's quite expensive, but it's very, very effective. Again, you only use that at 1 or 2% PIR as well, which is where these two are really good because a little goes an incredibly long way. Yeah, those are my recommendations. If you want to see where I tested Kotkemi Super Foam and VB against auto foam, watch this video. And if not, if you want to go and subscribe, go do that. That'd be fantastic. Thanks very much for spending your time watching this. I shall see you in the next one.